Well, the Liberals are once again expanding their ever-increasing bureaucracy, funneling $200 million into an online censorship regime, all while turning a blind eye to escalating real-life violent crime.
It's an extreme attack on Canadian free speech. This bill is pure censorship. It does nothing to protect Canadians from online harassment, but it needs to be stopped.
The tanking in the polls Justin Trudeau Liberals, who just lost an embarrassing by-election in a Toronto Liberal stronghold riding, are now dedicating $200 million worth of taxpayer funds to establish a brand new 330-person bureaucracy to regulate, also known as censor, social media platforms. Alberta-based MP Michelle Rempel-Garner inquired with the Parliamentary Budget Officer on the cost of Bill C-63, known as the Online Harms Act, citing not only its stunning inability to prevent online harassment, but the concerning likelihood that it would intrude on the rights and freedoms of Canadians. The Parliamentary Budget Officer has now published a report finding that the total operating cost will be roughly $201 million. The newly formed Digital Safety Commission ombudsperson and office will have 330 full-time equivalent employees at full capacity. The PBO estimates that from 2024 to 25 to 2028 to 2029, the total operating cost will be $201 million, minus any possible administrative monetary penalties, fines, and or regulatory charges collected by the commission, ombudsperson, and office. But this doesn't cover all of the expenses. The report further explains that the cost may be higher if the Digital Safety Commissioner, ombudsperson, or office decides to employ significant external legal, IT, or consulting services after reaching their full capacity. It says that the Digital Safety Commission may generate revenue for the government through administrative monetary penalties and fines, but there is a high degree of uncertainty in the revenues that will be generated, since it depends on the willingness of outside enterprises to follow the requirements set out by the Commission and the Online Harms Act, since few details are available about the cost recovery mechanism, which may offset some or all of the costs related to this new bureaucracy, which are not yet made public by the government. As MP Garner put it in her Substack, the lack of structure to recover administrative expenses means that Canadian taxpayers will likely be stuck footing the bill for a massive bureaucracy that will allow big tech companies to negotiate favorable terms with non-elected regulators behind closed doors.
He's going to spend over $200 million and hire over 300 bureaucrats to be in his new censorship bureaucracy. I was shocked when the Parliamentary Budget Officer came back with this. Like this is a lot even for Justin Trudeau, but this is how serious he is about censorship. It's like he's actually creating a new three-headed bureaucracy specifically to implement Bill C-63, the censorship bill. So when you think about this, 300 new bureaucrats to impose censorship legislation on you. That's Bill C-63. I've broken it all.
Now, let's not forget that this new legislation stipulates that victims of supposed hate speech could be compensated up to $20,000, with a new standalone hate crime offense added to the existing Criminal Code of Canada, allowing for penalties of up to life in prison. And since the bill enables increased complaints to the Canadian Human Rights Commission, there is no cost analysis included in this estimate as to how much added workload the policing of online speech would bring. It's reasonable to assume today's $200 million PBO analysis is just the tip of Bill C-63's spending iceberg. Garner explains further. She breaks down some of the cost comparisons and finds that this new bureaucracy will cost roughly the equivalent of hiring 204 police officers. It dwarfs the Transportation Safety Board of Canada in size and overshadows essential public safety priorities like the chronically underfunded and under-resourced Canadian military. The excessive financial burden that this places on Canadian taxpayers is more fuel to the fire of a public sector that bloated 3 times faster than the private sector in the last few years. The bill's lack of clarity and justification in its mission to protect Canadians from online harassment, while actual real-life violent crime waves sweep the nation since Trudeau took office in 2015, shows how this mammoth bureaucracy epitomizes this government's unchecked spending spree. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. You can support our work and stay up to date on this topic by signing our petition at stopthecensorship.ca. That's stopthecensorship.ca.